Hello guys, my name is Ahmed and today I will teach you how to clean data with Python. So this video is going to be very important if you are into data analytics or you want to learn Python as well. So this is going to be a two-in-one tutorial, and it's not going to be the traditional YouTube tutorial that you see mostly on YouTube. So I will be explaining just like you can see the code here. So in let me give you an introduction about what we are about to do. So this what I just did here is it was a freelance job for me. Okay, so I have done the job, but after doing it, I am going to explain it how I did, and it's not like I'm going to just give you a bird eye view of this block of code. I will explain each and everything. I will also explain the rotation. I will also explain the techniques that you should use in Python to get the best result. And when I will be doing this job, you might say that why are you using Python for such a small task? I mean, it can be done through Excel, Microsoft Excel. But the thing here is we are learning to clean data with Python. So in some scenarios, the Excel is the better option that you just export the data in Excel and clean the data there and do some optimization. But as we deal with big data, we have to use SQL and Python. So I will make another tutorial where I will export this data in SQL database and do the data cleaning there using SQL as well. So, but for now we are going to learn how to do this with Python. So let me just show you the data set first and what's it all about. So here we have two Excel file. So before I show you the data set, let me tell you that how I got my hands on this data set. So the thing is I live in a town. It's a gated society. I don't know if you are from watching from western side. I don't know if they have gated societies as well or not. But here I live in Pakistan, so in Pakistan, Islamabad, we have a lot of gated societies. So in gated society, they have their own systems. It's not like we are completely dependent on government. We have our own water supply, we have our own guards that provide security to us, and we also have our own garbage collection system and cleaning of streets and maintenance, all that. So the society charges a fee for providing these services to the residents, and the residents can also, apply for concession and all that. But we are not going to get into the detail. So they have collected the data for like an year. But when I saw the data, I was surprised. It was so dirty and it was so inconsistent. And I asked them that, I mean, who was actually, collecting this data and also recording it on Excel. So they say that, okay, the person was not capable for this. So we want you to clean this data so we can at least get some insights from it. So let's see the data set now. Uh, let's start with, so I have two files. The first one, let's check out the first one. So first one is basically town data collection. Here you can see we have serial number, slip, column, date. Date is basically the day where when they collect the amount from people. So we have a collection team that goes to house for collection of money. And then we have a month. Okay, so we have month column, and in month column we have months. And there is name column, and there is a house number, street number column, amount, and type slash balance. So here you can see the person is recording two types of data in one column. So if I click on it, here you will also see numbers. Okay, if you can see it. there are numbers as well. So this column is not supposed to record the balance as well. I mean, he should have made a separate column for that, but he didn't have that much experience. He was not even that much literate. So anyway, we are not here to criticize the person who record this. We are here to actually do the job. So if I uncheck all of them and only check as security and cleaning charges and water charges, oh sorry, unselect them instead of selecting them. So there we go, we have some blank spaces and some of the other things. So I'm not going to use Python for this one at least. Uh, Control Shift End, and I will just hit uh, Alt colon, and I will do backspace to remove this and Control Enter. So this is because I'm using filter, so I don't want to disturb the other rows inside this column. Okay, now we are just left with blanks and all that. So I don't know why some are blanks. Anyway, maybe they have sometimes people give charity to the security as well, or for some welfare, because they also do some welfare purpose kind of expenses. So for that, people also donate them. So I think the blank is for that. Anyway, so there are a lot of discrepancies. For example, in if you look at name, so if I filter a house, and here in house number, there are some two digits that are not basically house number. So these he also highlighted in it himself. So we are just gonna leave them as it is. Okay, we're not going to touch them. But let's say if I filter house number, let's say 52. Hmm. So here you see house number 52, street number 4. But sometimes he collected money from Yasser. And basically, there is inconsistency in the name writing. So he sometimes he write Yasser, sometimes he write Chaudhry Yasser completely, and sometimes ch dot and Yasser. So there are inconsistencies in names as well, and for this one, we have to have a second data set that contains the biodata of all the people that lives here. And we have that as well. I will show you that data set in a minute, because how are we going to tally uh, uh, the already written data? Because we are not sure if it's right or wrong. For example, here we can see house number 42, street 17. So house number 42 do not exist in street number 17, because street number 17 start from 300. So we have like 311, 312 in street 16. In street 17, there must be a street 17 here. Um, yeah, here you can see 334 house number. So how come 42 house number is in street number 17? Okay. So we have these kind of problems. So our job is just will be just to identify these mistakes and give it to them, and we will try to fix as many as possible. Uh, and let's see. Okay. So we are done with this one. You must have now get the idea that what kind of data we have. And also, I forgot to mention, in dates we also have very much inconsistency over here. So some are just fab, there is no complete date, but luckily we have month column, so we have to aggregate the data according to month. This is a good thing, because if we had to see and classify the data according to days, it will be impossible. So we have to aggregate the data according to month. They need month-wise data, that how much a certain house number in street number this has paid in this month, and they want monthly data. Okay, we will deal with this in a minute. Let me show you the second data set. All right, so here we are in second data set. So it's also a bit messy and inconsistent as well. And we don't care if it's right or wrong, because if this data set have mistakes, we cannot find it unless we have some other data set that is completely confirmed and completely correct. Okay, so we don't have that, so we are going to assume that this is at least 95% all right. Okay, so we in sheets we have, you can see we have multiple sheets over here. So what each sheet represent the street. Okay, for example, 13 number sheet, it represents the street number 13, and here we have serial number, number of houses, name, house number, floor, owner slash tenant is basically the status of the person living there. Is it, is it the owner or is he the tenant? So this is what owner slash tenant uh, will tell us. And I see there are some spaces between sheets as well. I can correct them right here, but I will just use Python for this. And so basically what we want to do here, first we have to fix the headers. These column names that we have here, there is inconsistency. In some way places we have only H hashtag. So because I want to concatenate all of these sheets based on the column names. So I will just change the name of the columns and then aggregate all the data, combine and concatenate all the data into one sheet. So it will be like list of house number with street inside a town with name as well. So as names are very inconsistent in the other Excel file, so we are not going to tally the name with this sheet because of it will not work. So the only information uh, we can use here is the house number and street. So we are going to match the house number in the data where it is recorded, and this data which is recorded for record purpose, that how many houses are there in, for example, in street number 19 we have 56 houses. Okay, so 56 house, yes, 56 house, and we have their house number as well. We also have floor status, that how many stories they have. For example, if we have this one, house number 373 have a ground floor and a first floor. So this means this is a double story building. Here we call it a double story building. I don't know what you guys call in your countries. Okay, so first one do not have any person living there, so it's only it's empty. But they charge basically based on the house size. Okay, so if you have like two-story building, they are going to charge you more, and if you have three-story building, even more. And for single story, we have less charges. So things like that. So, so I hope now you get the idea that what kind of data set we have and what we have to do. So let's close it and let's open the VS Code. So I'm using VS Code as my development environment, and I'm using Jupyter Notebook inside it, because obviously for data analysis and data science we use Jupyter Notebook because we can execute blocks of code separately in different cells, and we can see the output. Okay, so you can use whatever environment you want for yourself. I like to use VS Code. Anyway, so let's start. I've imported OpenPyXL as Excel and file path. So before I start, let me just give you a disclaimer there. Okay, so if you guys are into this video up till now, you should at least have a knowledge of how to use some libraries and in Python. Especially for this one, you at least should know the basics of pandas as well, because I will not be, it is possible to explain each and everything, but I will try to cover as much as possible. So, so I've imported OpenPyXL, and for file path, if the file is inside your working directory, you can right click on it and you can then copy relative path. But if the file is not inside your working directory, like I have in working directory, but if you don't have the file in working directory, you have to give full path here. So right now we're going to use load workbook to load the file, or it also means that it is reading the file. So now we have a variable WB, which is now basically the one that contains the file particulars, and we have to activate it by WB dot active. So in this way, the sheet is gets activated. So this is necessary if you want to write something inside. So as I mentioned that I wanted to change. Let me also first let me comment all of this out, and let me show you what we have inside sheet. So sheet dot title 1a, worksheet 1a, basically it's on first cell. All right, but what I want to show you guys is uh, let me print WB. Okay, WB is a generator object. Let me see if we can access. Um, Sorry. Um, okay. Okay, so there is no way to show output like this in OpenPyXL. That is why I like to use Pandas, but here I used OpenPyXL. So you also get familiar with the OpenPyXL library as well. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. We can just open a dataset from here. Okay, we can look after we are done with this. So as you see, we have inconsistency in column names. So we have to get rid of this first. So to get rid of this first, I have defined my own list of columns, names. Here I have serial number, number of houses, name, house, space, hashtag, and floor and status. Okay, so I changed owner slash tenant to status. Floor will remain the same, others will remain the same, and H, because we have house number inconsistency here, so I have defined it house number like this. So I want it like this. So I saved it and stored it in a list. And then I have a dictionary over here, and dictionary is just for these two sheets we have here. So some houses are on road, R dot road, Ali have space between it. So I don't want this, I want consistency. So for this purpose, I'm going to use a method in Python called mapping. So mapping is used when you want to change certain values in any data set. So you can define them into a dictionary like this. So what is the benefit of this? Let me show you. So here you can see we have a for loop. We have a nested for loop over here. Let me comment this out for a moment. So for sheet in wb.worksheets, this will iterate over all the sheets that we have inside this file, all of these sheets that are basically street numbers. So for sheet in wb.worksheets, this will give us individual sheet object, and when we do sheet.title, we get the title. So let me just show you the output so you understand the rotation. Okay, so if I print sheet dot title and press enter, you will see the sheet names. So this is the name of the sheet, and 1A is basically not the cell value, cell reference. I thought it was a cell reference, and I was wondering that why sheet is giving a cell reference. No, this is basically 1A street. Okay, so this is what sheet.title returns. And what do we want here is, let me uncomment this. So when we do sheet.title.strip, so the strip will remove the leading space and trailing space. For example, we have a word, so we have a we have a leading space and trailing space, and this can mess with the data because sometimes it treats as a different object. If it's a string, it will not match with the similar string if it do not have a space like the first one have. So it becomes a problem when we are matching things, when we are doing data validation. So we have to remove, this is a part of data cleaning, that we have to remove unnecessary spaces. So here we are doing our first data cleaning by stripping the spaces. Then we are using if statement. So if sheet.title in rename mapping. So this is where dictionary come in handy. So we are basically looking up inside a dictionary, looking up a value, basically sheet title. So we only needed to change two sheet numbers, basically name of roads. So r dot space road will become r dot road, and ali space road will become ali dot road. So it will become consistent. Okay, so sheet dot title is equal to rename mapping that we have created, and we are looking this sheet dot title inside it. So if it is find, if it found here, if it is inside the rename mapping, we can just rename the sheet dot title like this. Okay, you can play with this line of code after this. I will upload this on GitHub and also give the link in the description. And then we have, as it is a nested for loop, we have another for loop inside it because we have to deal with the column names inside each sheet. So for column num header in enumerate standard headers, start is equal to 1. So why start is equal to 1 in enumerate? So as you know, enumerate gives us index and the value, okay, of any iterable. So here in our case we have list of columns. So why start with 1? Because we are dealing with Excel. So OpenPyXL, in OpenPyXL functions, the index starts from 1 instead of 0. So that is why here we are doing, when we are doing cell sheet dot cell, we are now accessing the cell inside it, the first one right here. So we have to give reference that which cell we want. So we have only a row and column number. So row is obviously first, and make sure if you are applying such technique to rename the headers, you have to make sure that all sheets starts from the row 1. Okay, otherwise it will be a problem. And let's say if you have a lot of sheets and they have a lot of different places, they have starting places differently, so you can add conditions that inside the logic that you're using in Python to deal with such problems. But best and simple way, error-free way, is to remove those spaces if there are any and place them into the first row, and make sure that all of them starts from first row and first column. Okay, because otherwise this block of code will not work. So inside it, we have row parameter and column parameters. These two parameters are the only one, and we also have a value one, and we don't want that. Uh, and we can use that as well. For example, it is right now written dot value. To access it, we can just remove this dot value and write value is equal to header like this. Okay. So I think we after doing this we don't even need to do this. Okay, but I like to do this. So sheet dot cell, we gave the reference row number, column number, dot value is equal to header, and header is going to be the serial number, number of houses, name, as we progress in the for loop. So in this way, it will keep changing the the column names of each and every sheet. So we are done with this. We are done with our first cleaning and rectifying. So after doing this, we can press Control Enter, and now we have a new sheet. So make sure when you are saving the file, save the file in a different, save the data into a different file. Okay, because if you have done something wrong, you will mess with the main data, and then you have to recover the data from the backup or copy and paste the file again. So don't do that. Okay, now we can see all of the column names are now same, and we owner slash tenant is not anymore. We have status as the column name. Everything looks fine. So I'm going to just close this. Now we are going to load the same data that we just created, streetwise data. I named it, and we are going to use pandas. Okay. Now we are going to use pandas to read. For example, pd.readXL file path and sheet name is equal to none. So this is important because if you want an Excel file to give you all the sheets when you read it, you have to set it to none, because if you don't do that, it will only take the first sheet as the data frame, and we don't want that. So when we do pd.readXL, either if you want to just read the single sheet from the whole file, you can just put the name of the sheet here and it will read that specific sheet. Okay, then I created a placeholder, an empty list. And let me just delete this. We don't need this. Okay, let me just show you how the data frame looks like when we import it with pandas. Okay, so I'm going to print df, uh, just df. So here we have a dictionary. If we hover our mouse over df, it says it's a dictionary which contains string and data frame. So string is basically the sheet name, and the data is basically the data frame. Yes. Um, yes, data frame in the second one is the data frame. Okay. So now you can see we have sheet name, data frame. Okay. So uh, the best way to iterate over a sheet is, let me keep this one comment out because this one will write the what we are doing here. So we don't want to write it yet. So in for loop, we are going to use the for loop. For loop is going to run on this iterator df.items. So items will, as you know, the uh, will split open the dictionary, and it will give us the sheet name and data frame. So we are storing it into two variables, sheet name and data. So data contains data frame, as you can see. So we are going to check if the headers, standard headers the list, it matches with the columns inside the sheet. Okay, and why we are doing this? Because uh, I try to concatenate right away by using pd.concat, but this is a function for concatenation. Let me show you why I did this, so you also know the reason why I'm doing this. So first of all, we are going to make a variable dfs is equal to pd.concat, and okay, we are going to use df.values ignore index true. Okay, and basically this is going to concatenate all the sheets. So why not do this with just one line of code instead of writing this? Let me show you. Now when I print the data frame, you can see we have like unnamed column. So I tried to find it and I checked all the sheets inside Excel individually, that why I am getting this unnamed columns. So I couldn't find any, and it was tedious task to find them anyway. So because of this, I have to validate the data again by column names. Okay, so we have all the columns name over here, but now we also have unnamed columns, and this can be maybe because the file got corrupted, or there are some hidden cells, anything, any reason. So we don't want them, so that is why we are not going to use this technique. And instead, we are going to use the for loop. So we have to convert this into a set instead of a list, because we have a list of standard header. We are converting it into a set to compare this with data.column. Okay. So when we do is subset, it will return true if the columns match. So when it gets to the unnamed columns, it will not match and it will return false. So they will not be selected. And then I also want street numbers as well. So let me show you the original data set. So in original data set, there is a problem. So the problem is that when we do we have, why we want street column is because we have house numbers, but we don't have street numbers over here, and we want this data set after concatenating, and after concatenating we want to compare it with this dataset. So this dataset have house number and street as well. So if we don't have street, because they told me that there are some houses, because with main town they have some small sub towns attached to it, and they also collect charges from them as well. So they also have house numbers and street number repeated. So we have to make a unique number which will be based on house number and street. So they will bond together. Okay, and in this way we will have some unique data set, because these streets that are repeated in other towns are written as 1A street or 5C street or etc. So they have data like this. Okay, so now you know why we want to create a sheet column. So to create a sheet column, we do this. Data is basically data frame. So we are giving this a new column name like this. In this way, just like we give index, we have to or we access the dictionary in to create a new folder. To create a new column, we have to give the new column name inside a list like this. Okay, and when we do is equal to sheet name, so what will happen is that sheet name basically contains, let me you know add a print statement here so you will know what's inside sheet name and data. Sheet name and data. Oh wow, what happened? Oh, okay. So in data we have data frame, obviously that is why we are getting data, but let's just do sheet name. So here we have sheet name. So sheet name basically are street numbers, okay, or road name. Some houses are on road, so uh, the way he recorded the data, he also wrote the road names there. So we also need them. So now you know the purpose of why we are doing this. So when we do is equal to sheet name, basically the sheet names are street numbers. So street numbers will be get written in every row. Okay. Then data is equal to data, and why we are doing this. So this is when we want to redefine the data, because I wanted the street column to be next to house number. Okay. Here we have house number, so I wanted the street column this place. So there are other ways to do it, but I want to do this as easy as possible. So this is easier way to do this instead of selecting location and inserting and all that. So this is easier. I found it easier. So here you can see we have serial number, number of houses, name, house number, and street here. And if let's say if we don't do this, what will happen? The street column will add at the end of the data frame. So it will be the last column, and I don't want that. I want it with the house number, just like the other data set, that is basically the town collection data set. So I want it to match with this. Then dfs.append data. This is basically we are running for loop for an every for loop. It will access the data. Data is basically data frame. So dfs.append, dfs is a list and data is a data frame. So what we will have at the end is the list of a data frame. Okay, so we will have a list of a data frame, and then we can combine it, concatenate it. So it is easier and simple. So here you can see, before we get to this, let me show you how it will look like. Print DFS. So here you can see it started with list, and we have data frames, multiple data frames inside it of every street. So now you know what we have here. Let me only comment this line out. So now we can just use one line pd.concat and provide sheet and ignore index is equal to true, because we don't want index, because if we don't set it to true, the it will we will have another column of index over here, and we don't want that. So now I will show you after concatenating how it will look like. So final data frame. So now you can see street number, street column, and street names are changed, and we can see we have 1281 rows and 7 columns. This means that our concatenation is now successful, and we have, all the data, because here you can see we also have okay, we don't have that, but it's no worries, no problem. Okay, so now we have 7 column instead of 6, and this is fine. So now we know that the concatenation is successful. Now we want to write this into a separate file, just like we did this with previous one. So control enter, and let me just remove this. We don't need that. Let's do this again. All right. So to write, I'm using .2xl, and .2xl function takes the file path, and index should be false to, because we don't want index column. So now we have all sheet data. So if I minimize this, here you can see we have lots of data, 1281 values, and now sheet is concatenated successfully. Control Shift Enter, and let me insert it as table. Let's have some border and auto fit to column width, and I want to centralize it. Perfect. So now we can have a data set that we can actually use, and it is useful. Okay, so what do we want next? Okay, so now we are going to, as we have created all street data, we have concatenated it successfully. Now we are going to read that file that we just created, again using pandas, and then I used for loop again. And why? Because there was a problem with this data set. Let me close the other one. All right, so all street data, and we are dealing with all street data. So so the problem here is, in the data set, is that we have some empty cells. Okay, so this data is related to this house number, but we don't have the house number 10 over here. He wrote this for house number 3, house number 7, but not for others. So we want that as well, because we, after doing this, we have to clear out the rows that are empty inside it. Okay, so we want to do this first. So there will be house numbers in all the empty rows So there are no empty rows that do not have, like, yes, we have some rows like this one. All right, we have that. Hmm. This can be an issue. Yes, this was an issue, but how did I dealt with this one? Because here the whole logic is that if the house number is missing, if it has zero value, then write the house number there. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. But yeah, I actually manually removed these spaces. So in floor column, I selected blanks, and in blank we have some data that we actually don't want. And if we try to do this with Python, it will take a lot of time because we have to deal with a lot of things here over here. So we have some house numbers that have also have names, but there is no floor written in front of it. So he must have forgot about it because the person exists. So it's not like he is living in the same floor. He is living in a separate floor. So what do we do with this? Since we do not want to know if it's actually a ground floor, first floor, or second floor, or even third floor, we are just going to write G in that. G is for ground floor. So this is what I came up with. So now we have to filter names. So filter names. Okay, what do we don't want here? We don't want plot because plot is basically the empty plot. There is no house there. And some places that are under construction and that are off. Okay. Mm, let's select the off one anyway. Off means that the person is not living here. Then we have a tube well. We don't want to include that. And okay. So now we are just, oh, sorry. We want to include those instead of, wait a minute, plot and tube well and under construction. Is there another building under construction? Okay. Yeah. So here we can see we have basically plot numbers in streets, and we don't want these. So we're going to just select them like this, and we're going to hit delete sheet rows. Perfect. Now you're going to clear this out. Okay, there are still blank spaces in floor column. Okay, I forgot to select the blanks. So where names are blank and house numbers are also blank. Okay, the status is there, but there is no house number. Oh, oh yes, this is okay. This is basically okay. Hmm. We don't want to delete them. Hmm. Wait a minute. Let me think. Let me think. Okay, so the one that do not have any status at all. So they do not have any floors. They do not have any tenants. So as they are very few, we are going to just delete them as well. Hmm. Now these are the only blanks with floors, floor column that are blank. Okay, so we can now write. First, we are going to select, then Alt, colon. I'm actually teaching you Excel as well, and then write capital G, Control, Enter. This will only, paste the same thing in the cells because we are using filter. We don't want to paste this in between the other cells as well. So now we are clear and we are good to go. Because if I write a Python logic for dealing with this, it will be, it will take a lot of time. The video will become lengthy. So I am going to just deal with this. Okay, now we can write the same house number that is in previous cell. So we will have no empty spaces here as we do not have name, but the floor exists. Okay, so floor is all that matters. So we're going to just save it and make sure you do not recreate the all street again, because if you do, it will remove everything what we just did. Okay, here we are reading. So in this for loop, we are using df.iter_rows. What iter rows will do, it will iterate over the rows, and it will return an iterator. Mm, Let me just show you what it will look like if we do this. Print df.iter_rows. Okay, it's a generator, so we have to iterate over it like this, like for um, print first index. So indexes start from 0. So iter rows return index, and what is the second one? The row will contain the whole row, I think. Yes, with column reference as well. Okay. So we have, like, in row we have a small data frame that contains the name of the column and the value that is inside that row. Okay, so in index 0 means that in first row we have these values. Okay, perfectly fine. Mm, okay. Oh, why is it giving me an error? Oh, that's why. Okay, so we are fine. Now I'm checking if there is an empty value inside the house number column. So how do we do this? PD dot is NA. So it means that if it is it empty? If yes, then proceed. If it's true, then proceed. Df dot at index. So here we are accessing a property inside a data frame. As data frame is a class, we can access a property inside a class. So df dot at index and house number. So index is we already have here. So what this will do? It will run. The for loop will provide index. It will check the index. First one is going to be 0. So first row and column house number. Okay. So now what do we want? We want to replace the value that is empty. Okay, so this is just to get the cell reference where the value is 0. And then df dot at index -1. What -1 will do? -1 will actually give us the previous index. Okay, so previous index and column name is house number as this one. So in this way we will get the house numbers in the empty cell. So in Excel, it is difficult to use it to do it. We have to use formula, and I don't like to use Excel formula because they are very unreliable and they are very annoying if they make mistakes, and it is hard to detect. That is where Python comes in handy, because in the best thing about pandas is it converts the data into a data frame, and it provides a lot of control over it. I feel like I am in control when I'm dealing with data frame inside pandas. Okay, so final file path, we are going to create another file. Previous one was all street data. Now we have final street data.xlsx. Okay, so you know how to write just like we wrote the previous file. So we're just going to do this. Okay, and we're going to close it. Uh, we are going to run this again just to be sure, because the file that we were reading was open, so I don't want anything to be corrupted. Control Shift N, insert table, place borders in autofill, centralize autofill, autofit. Okay, now let's zoom in. Now we can see that there are no blank spaces in house number. There are no blanks. Perfect. Everything is fine now. Everything looks good. Let me double check this again. So let's say if name is empty. Oh, okay, we have some values. Okay, we don't know the names over here, but that's fine. That's fine. Okay, no, there is no problem. So let me just select the blank values. How many we have here? Oh, we have a lot, but we know they exist. There is a floor. There is an extra floor here that exists. So now what do we do? What do we do? Hmm. I think our data is good to go. So let's clear those filters, save the file. Okay, so now we are going to read the file that we just created over here. Let's close it, and we are going to read the final street data that contains the house number in all the empty cells. And we are going to read this, and now we want to group the data. Okay, what we want is we want the floor count. Let me again open this. So floor status, and I want a column over here that will tell us what is the floor count. For example, house number 3 have 2 stories, so I want 2 written in front of both of them, and then I can get rid of the duplicates. So this is one way to do it. You can also create a new sheet where there is no duplicate, and after removing the duplicates, you apply a group by. So it's just like grabbing your ear from here or grabbing it like this. So both of the method work. Either you group by first and then remove the duplicates, or you remove the duplicates first and then do group by. But I'm not going to remove the duplicates over here. We're going to do it in the next block of code. Okay, when we are going to concatenate it. So, so for now, I'm just going to add the floor count. To add this, you know how to add new columns like this, and then we are iterating over this data frame. and using the method group by. So group by, here we can give house number, street number, and dot transform size. So in transform function, you can also provide your custom lambda functions here, but we don't want that. We just want the size. So you could also do something like this, like if you want to count floor instead of house number and street number, if you want to count the values inside floor, you can do this, and then you can do transform and use max. And no, sorry, it was count. So this will work as well. Let me just comment this out so we don't write it accidentally. So if we do this, print final df dot head. So now you can see we have another column over here, levels. We have levels, house number 3 repeated 2 times, or in this case we are basically counting how many values in floors. So instead of this, I just wanted to make it short as possible. So instead of this, you can just do this dot transform size. And we need to do transform, because if we don't do this, this will return the whole data set with all the columns. What we don't want this. You can print this line of code individually to see what it will return. So you have to practice this by yourself. So I will, give that, give the address to the data in the description, give the link in the description. So, okay, now let's print this one as well to see if this one does the same thing or not. So obviously this one does the same thing. Okay, wait a minute. I think I saw something different. Am I right? Oh, okay. Okay. This is interesting. Oh, yes. The reason we cannot do this is in floors there are still some values that are missing. Oh, let me check. Let me check. Um, okay, but these are those. I forgot to write something here, but it doesn't matter. But as we have the house numbers completed, so we don't no longer need the floor. Yes, I remember now why I did this instead of this. Um, yes. So we don't want floor. Floor is unreliable, so don't do this. Final df dot head, or we can do head, or wait a minute, iloc, and I want all the rows. No, not all the rows. I want rows from 100 index to 200. So iloc is to to access, to give the index to rows and column. So I just gave the index to rows. If you want to give index to the column, you can just put comma and give that as well. So in case if I want only last two, I will do last three, I will do -3. Let's see. Yes. The -3 will give us floor status and levels. And if I do -4 over here, yes. It will also give street. -5 is fine because I also want to see house numbers. Yes, yes. Hmm. So this is reliable and we can work with this data. So let's now comment this out. Right now I want to write the data into a different sheet. So that is why I'm not going to use pd.to excel because this will write another file. I want to write another sheet. Okay, I want to add another sheet. For this we are going to use this context manager, and it start with pd.excel writer, and we have to provide file name, and mode will be a, which means append. If sheet exists, replace. So if sheet already exists, replace it in case we don't want the desired data. It was not according to our expectation. So in this case, we can write this parameter here that we want to replace. Otherwise, it will add another sheet, and we don't want that. So as writer, so now writer is a context manager. So using this, we are going to use final df.toXL inside it instead of just using this. And here we have to provide sheet name. Okay, so sheet name floor count index should be false. So okay, now let's close it because we are going to now write the data over it. Don't save. Okay, it just took 5 seconds. 0.5 seconds, and now we have another sheet floor count. Control Shift N. Let's format it. Table K borders and centralize the data and format it. So in floor count we have this. Okay. I mean we can just remove the duplicates and then we can paste it. I don't know why I didn't do this here. Oh, I just repeated the process in this cell. This is not necessary. We can perform this here. Going to delete this cell. We don't need it. Don't save. So now you know why we selected replace here. So the data was not as we expected. I have to remove duplicates because having duplicates in that floor count is not needed. So we have to shrink the data. So in this way, we will also able to see that how many houses are actually in the town. So this will give us this insight. So let me run this again. Sorry about this. Uh, Floor count. Control Shift N and borders table uh, and centralized data autofill. Okay. So now we have duplicate remove, and let's reset the serial numbers. We can do this with Excel. We don't need Python for this, and control N. So it says 610 houses, but we don't have 610 houses. So why we have like 500 houses max. But the reason is because there are some houses that are split, and there are houses where maybe tenants are living, but no, we actually removed the duplicates. So this means that there is no house number that is repeated, but there are some houses like, for example, 29 house number. So we have 29 and we have 29A. Okay. That is why we have like 600 values, because some houses are basically split into two. So the other portion will be called 29A. Okay. So this is the problem. So that is why we have 600. But if we remove these houses with alphabets, we will have like five around something numbers. So now that we have this data, we can now tally this data, because this data is basically the buyer data of our whole town. That how many house numbers are there, how many roads, how many floors they have. I have named it levels for simplicity, single or one, only one. So there are some discrepancies in here. For example, some where there are spelling mistakes in floor, but now we no longer need floor. In fact, we can actually delete these columns, but there is no use. We will not gain anything from it anyway. We just wanted the floor count. All right. So now we are done with this one. Going to save it. Now we will move towards the town data collection.